Hello everyone, this is Atiya Zanab and I welcome you to the platform where you get worthwhile content for ICSE and ISC classes. Today in this video, I'm going to discuss one-liners or MCQs, important MCQs of With the Photographer by Stephen Leacock for class 10th ICSE. Without wasting time, let's get started. You will get all the levels of the questions, basics, moderate and difficult. So here the question number one is, what did the narrator want from the photographer? Obviously, photograph. Second is, what was the photographer wearing when the narrator first went to his studio? So answer is a grey suit. The third question is, how did the photographer react when the narrator expressed his desire to have his photograph taken? So with indifference. That means he did not take interest to take photograph of our narrator. The next question is, how did the speaker, that means narrator, feel about interrupting the photographer? So obviously he felt as if he invaded the privacy, right? So C will be the answer. He felt guilty for invading the photographer's privacy. The next question is, how long did the narrator have to wait before having his photograph taken? So obviously 1 hour, and what did he do while waiting for 1 hour? He read the magazines, right? So the next question belongs to the same thing. What did the narrator read while waiting? The answer will be old magazines. Now, the next question that I'm sharing is a new type of question that might be asked this year. They have introduced this type of question. Dependent and independent sentences they will give you, and you have to figure out which one sentence is dependent of which one. So here the first sentence says that it is telling that the narrator read the Lady's Companion, the name of the magazines they are giving to us. These magazines our narrator was reading while waiting for the photographer. In the second sentence, in the second sentence, we are given that after an hour, the photographer opened the inner door. So here we have options. One is an example of two. So example cannot be the answer here. And this next is, one is a cause for two. Now here most of the students get confused. This is also not okay, right? Why? Because they have given to us the photographer opened the inner door, right? So opening the inner door is not connected with reading the magazines, right? So if they had given to us like this, the narrator had to wait for 1 hour. So we could say that one is cause for two. However, here we are given that the photographer opened the door, right? Opening the door and reading the magazines are not connected with each other. That's why this will not be okay. And the C says contradiction. So these are not contradiction, obviously. And the D1 says one is independent of do. So both the actions are independent, right? Opening the door and reading the magazines. That means there's no connection. Now the next type of question they can give you that the sequence of the events from the story, right? Here we are given 4 sentences and you have to choose the correct option, that which one event took place earlier and which one took place later. So if you read carefully, this is super easy. There is no need to explain these events, right? So answer will be C. However, if you have confusion related to this particular question, you can ask in the comment box. I'll reply there. The next question is important. There are some students who just prepare the summary of the stories, right? They do not read the entire chapter, entire story. So those students might get confused. But the students who read the entire story word by word, they understand the story, so they can give the answer very lucidly. So here the question is, what did the photographer do to adjust the lighting? So the second will be answer, he tore at the cotton sheet and the window panes. Again, I'm saying that for the correction of MCQs in your upcoming board examination, you must read the entire story word by word once. The next question also belongs to the sequence of events. Answer I'm sharing. The A will be answer. If you have confusion again, you can ask in the comment box. And 11th question is also important. What did the photographer comment on the narrator's face? So this is very important because this line was the punching line that our narrator felt a lot, right? So the photographer said your face is quite wrong. So the C will be answered here. So right after making a comment by the photographer, how was the narrator's response? This is your question number 12. So he agreed on this, right? He agreed that yes, my face is quite wrong. So for question number 12, B will be your correct answer. The next question is, how did the narrator react when the photographer twisted his head? So again, I'm saying this will be solved by those students easily who have read the story themselves. So B will be the correct answer. He thought the photographer wanted to kiss him and closed his eyes. Question number 14 belongs to the sequence of events. You read yourself and just pause the video and get to know what will be the answer, and just then match the answer. If you have problem, you can ask in the comment box. So by the way, the answer here will be A1, 2, 1, 4, 3 will be the sequence. Now question number 15, we are given two sentences here, and we have to figure out the dependency of the sentences. So here the first sentence says the photographer took the narrator's head in his hands and twisted sideways, right? Just recently we have discussed this. And then in the second sentence says the narrator thought the photographer meant to kiss him and he closed his eyes. So it is crystal clear that one is the cause for two. That means why did the narrator think that the photographer wanted to kiss him? Because the photographer asked him to twist his head. Okay. So next question says, what did the photographer dislike about the narrator? So his head. Question number 17 also belongs to the sequence of events. Answer I'm sharing here. D will be answer 2413. You read yourself and just get to know. Sentence number 18. We are given two sentences. The narrator started to open the mouth a little. The photographer instructed the narrator to open the mouth a little. So it's obvious. Why did the narrator start to open the mouth a little? Because the photographer instructed him to do so. So obviously 2 is the cause for 1 will be your answer. 19th question is most important. Which of these did the photographer not ask the narrator to do? To expand the lungs, he asked. To hum the neck, he asked. To contract the waist, he asked. What did he not ask the narrator to do? To pout the lips. Question number 20. How did the narrator feel about his face? Did he also feel that his face is quite wrong and he is ugly? No, not at all. The answer is he loved it despite its faults. Although he agreed on this point when photographer said that your face is quite wrong. So he agreed, yes, okay. But despite this fact, he loved it. The 21 question is important. What happened when the narrator was about to leave the seat? So when he was leaving the stool on which he was sitting, so in that animation moment, the photographer took the photograph. The question number 22 says, how did the photographer share this news that he had captured his animated features? So he was smiling when he said these words. So with a please smile will be the answer. The next question asks, what did the photographer need to do before showing the narrator the picture? So the photographer wanted to develop the negative of the picture. So answer will be C. The next question belongs to sequence of events. So this type of question for sure will come in your upcoming examination. So if you have a good understanding, you have read the story yourself, so you can solve this question easily. Here the answer is 1, 3, 2, 4, A option. If you have any problem, you can ask in the comment box. The next question is, what did the narrator say when he saw the proof of the photograph? So when the photographer showed the photo of our narrator, so he was very confused. He did not believe that he was him in the picture. Why? Because our photographer had changed all the features of narrator. So the answer will be, he asked if it was him. That means he could not believe on the photograph. The next question is, what had the photographer done to the narrator's eyes in the photograph? So he had retouched them. Same is question number 27. It is asking, what did the photographer do with the narrator's eyebrows? So he had removed them. So he had removed the eyebrows of narrator and just changed them with the help of some techniques, right? The next question is, what process did the photographer mention for putting in new eyebrows in the photograph? So he had mentioned this name. You have to remember that. This is important question. The Delphi is the correct answer. The next question is, what did the photographer think about the narrator's hairline? So he said that it was too low. Okay, this is also important. If you have read the story carefully, then you can answer this. So he told that it was too low will be the answer. The next question is, according to the photographer, why could he not use the narrator's mouth in the photographer? Because it was too low. So both the answers are same for hairline and the mouth. Okay, it was too low. The next is, how did the photographer plan to fix the narrator's ears in the print? So by removing them. So he had removed the eyebrows also, and he had removed the ears, and he just changed them, okay, according to his style, with the help of some techniques. The next question is, what process was the photographer planning on using to remove the narrator's ears from the print? So answer is sulfide. So make sure you don't get confused between delphide and sulfide. So delphide he had used to remove the eyebrows and for putting the new eyebrows, and for fixing or for removing the narrator's ears from the print, he had used sulfide. Question number 33. There are two sentences, and both the sentences are on delphide and sulfide. Photographer told that for removing the eyebrows and putting the new eyebrows, he uses delphide, and for removing the ears, he uses sulfide. So these two sentences are independent of each other. That means he uses sulfide, that's why he uses delphide, or he uses delphide, that's why he uses sulfide. No, a big no. That means both the sentences are not dependent on each other, they are independent of each other, right? So answer will be 1 is independent of 2. Next question is, how did the photographer try to improve the narrator's appearance in the photograph? So he had done many things. He had adjusted the lighting, he had adjusted the narrator's pose, and by retouching the photograph. So answer will be all of the above. Question number 35. What did the narrator want in a photograph? So this is important question. As you know, that photographer wanted a fine photo with the good features. There should not be any wrong in his photo. But what did the narrator want from inside? Right? He wanted that his face should appear as God has given him. Right? So the B will be answered, a depiction of his face as heaven had given it to him. So heaven refers to God here. The next question is, why did the narrator decide to get his photograph taken? So this was super important question because the entire story is about a photograph. So why did the narrator want a photograph? So obviously he wanted a photograph so that after his death, his friends, his relatives could remember him, right? So the D will be answer, to leave a memento for his friends to remember him by after he passes away. Passes away means dies after his death. The next question is, how did the narrator describe the photograph in his monologue? So this is also important. He called his photograph, a so-called photograph, which the photographer changed a lot. So he called it a worthless bauble, inexpensive bauble. Bauble is what? Inexpensive jewelry that it was not important. It was of no use for our narrator. So remember this word, bauble. A worthless bauble will be the answer. Question number 38. What did the narrator do after his monologue at the end? So on which thing he gave the monologue? Obviously, he just told the importance of the true and genuine appearance of the person, that how we look genuinely, we should accept our features. We should accept that whatever and however our features have been given to us by God. So we should be thankful, we should be grateful for these things, right? So what did the narrator do after his monologue at the end? So he broke into tears and left. He began to cry. He began to shed the tears, right? So the next question is, what does the title with the photographer suggest about the story? So it is about the narrator's experience with the photographer, nothing else, right? Entire story revolves around the experience of narrator, how he experienced with that photographer after having a quite different photograph. Okay, the next question is, which of the following words best describe the photographer's demeanor throughout the story? Demeanor means manner. So obviously he was indifferent with how our narrator looks. He just gave importance to his own style, and he was inclined to the techniques of science, how he can improve the features, how he can rectify the faults in the face of our narrator, right? So the answer will be indifferent. So what's the meaning of indifferent? So if someone is indifferent, that means he does not take interest what others are liking, what others like, what others' desires are. So he did not take interest. No, he did not want to know why the narrator wanted to have a photograph, right? He just was inclined towards scientific techniques, and he wanted to rectify all the faults. So this is called that he was indifferent. The next question is, in his final monologue, the narrator says, what I wanted is no longer done. Which of the following words best described his mood? So as I told you that he was shedding the tears, he broke into tears at last. So he was disappointed. So these words of him tell us that he was disappointed, right? Next question is also important. What aspect of society does the story satirize? Satirize means to criticize, to ridicule, to mock, right? So obviously, Stephen Leacock, by this story, wanted to give a lesson to the society. But what aspect of society he wanted to tell us? So the obsession with physical appearance. So there are a lot of people who just focus how they look, how they appear. They always concentrate on how they are looking, right? Always just mad at these things, right? So he wanted to satirize that aspect of society. The answer will be the obsession. Obsession means craziness, right? Madness, the obsession with physical appearance. So the character of photographer Stephen Leacock has shown this type of obsession. He was inclined towards which things? Scientific techniques. His only focus was that the face of the narrator must look nice, right? The wrong, the faults of the face must be removed by him. So that was his only aim. So this is called obsession. Next question is, what does the story suggest about the society's perception of beauty, right? So this type of perception of society that the looks must be okay, always just obsession with the looks, that is unfair and unrealistic, right? This is the correct answer. Now the next question is, what did the protagonist, that means our narrator, learn from his experience with the photographer? So obviously the undue importance given to physical appearance, this what's what he learned. And next is, how would you describe the tone of the story? So is it serious? Not at all. Is it humorous? Yes, of course. When the photographer asks the narrator to twist his head, he feels that he's going to kiss, right? So this is humorous and satirical. Obviously satirical. Dramatic? Not at all. So answer will be 2 and 3. B1. Moving to next question. What role does humor play in the story? So Stephen Leacock has written a lot of stories in which he has used humor, and he has used humor just to highlight the issues of society. He wanted to satirize these type of issues. So it highlights the absurdity of the situation. So narrator felt a lot of absurdity when the photographer asked to twist the head to make the poses, right? So these was so absurd. So obviously it highlights the absurdity of the situation. Next question is important. What is the significance of the narrator's final monologue? So the monologues that he delivered. So why was he doing that? What was his aim? So he wanted to criticize social standards of beauty, how society feels the beauty, and how the concept of beauty is understood by narrator, right? And promotion of self acceptance. So answer will be C. It criticizes societal standards of beauty and promotes self acceptance. The next question is also important. Which literary device does Leacock use to portray the absurdity of the narrator's situation? So obviously, absurdity of the narrator's situation is humor that we read in the story. So obviously, with that humor, with that absurdity, he wanted to criticize. He wanted to mock at the societal standards, right? So this is a device, irony. Irony is the device by which we just want to criticize someone, but with the help of humor. So this is irony answer. The next question is, the narrator narrates, I was conscious of a break in my voice. What does it suggest? So why did the narrator feel a break in his voice? Because he was disappointed. He soon broke into tears also. So the narrator was overcome with emotion. He became emotional when he saw the features, the change features of his photograph. The next question is, after the photographer had taken his photograph, the narrator says, I could see the machine still staggering from the shock. Which literary device is used in this sentence? Answer is personification. Why? Because here machine is a non-living thing, and when non-living thing is treated as a living thing, so that type of technique is used, literary device known as personification. So machine staggering is done by humans, right? And here we are saying a machine is still staggering. That's why personification will be the answer. When non-living things are personified, that means they are treated as persons, then we say that it is personification there. The next question is, after taking the photograph, the photographer tells the narrator, I caught the features just in a moment of animation. What does it mean in the context of the story? So answer is the face showing signs of life and movement. The next question, what does the term retouched mean in the context of photography as used in the story? So altered a photograph digitally. It is easy. So in the previous question we discussed, he retouched the eyes, he retouched the ears. So what did he do actually? He just altered the photograph digitally. Next question is, what does the term superficies mean as used in the story? So answer is surface or exterior boundary. The outward boundary is the meaning of superficies. A will be the answer. The next question is, the narrator tells the photographer that the photograph is a worthless bauble to him. What does the word bauble mean? So, as I told you earlier also, a small decorative object of little value, a jewelry, inexpensive jewelry is a real meaning. So, here it is given as a small decorative object of little value. How was the explanation and how did you find this video? Was it helpful for you or not? Let me know in the comment box and subscribe. Thank you for watching.